issue that you guys are getting. Let me say this too. Minimalism is a very difficult concept to get for anybody. For me, it's difficult. So you guys are like years ahead. But the reason why I want you to focus on that is because it's kind of like the opposite of the way that you already paint and draw. And I think the more tools that you have in your toolbox, the better you'll be able to express yourself through your art. So minimalism is, okay, somebody raise their hand, give me one definition or description of minimalism to you.
It doesn't have anything like the person can tell what it is, like it's just kind of, there's nothing to infer about it.
Good. And I love how old are you again? Okay, so use that big word infer. To me, that's a big word. I'm impressed. Very good. Anybody else? Somebody raise their hand. What is minimalism? To you, what do you understand about it?
Very simple colors that like they don't have like any specific shape.
Okay. I will accept that. But for the project we're doing this, we're using one color. Singular. Okay, anybody else? Somebody else? Yes? Speak a little louder, please.
There's no story behind it.
No story behind it. No obvious story. You're not trying to, it's not literal. You're not trying to convey a story to a person. But the reason why you did it, there may be a story in your mind. Okay. Somebody else?
Well, I've heard.
Do what?
Well, I've heard like very minimal detail.
Yeah. Yes. You could even say no detail. It could be no detail or a lot of detail. Or it could be a lot of detail that looks like no detail. So, okay. Did you want to say anything? I want you to, okay. I won't force you. So I'm going to show you what minimalism is not. So, this is headed in the right direction, but there's too much white space here. So you can't help but read red and white, two colors. I want you to read it as one color. Now, you guys, you're making some good art, but it's not minimal for the most part. So is this the correct way of it? This, like this? Okay, so there's too much going on here for it to be minimal. You know, you're dealing with balance, right? So, and you're dealing with space here. So when you read this, there's so many directionals going on, which is very nice, but you know, you can read 3D space here. Can you guys see what I'm talking about? So it's like a space that's been opened up here. And so I think what you have to focus on is to stop drawing. No drawing. Okay? Even when you're painting, no drawing. You're just laying down color. That's all. Think of it like that, almost like print making or something. There's so too much drawing in this. Even though this is a nice picture, it's not minimal. Now, a lot of people would disagree with me about that, by the way. Now, there's artists who would say, yes, this is minimal art. And I'm okay with that. But for what we're doing, I'm trying to get you to reduce it all the way down to like one thought, one concept, you know. And then we can deal with the other stuff later on. Minimalism is a type of abstraction. Who did this one? Who painted this one? Nobody? Are we missing a student or something? This is a nice expressionistic painting, by the way. And it's almost minimal, except there's too much drawing. And I'm not saying there can't be no drawing, but the drawing will be incidental. Now, this is on the borderline between, is this the correct way up? This is on the borderline between minimalism, to me, and abstract expressionism, maybe. But because you read this as one color, even though there's 3 different values of red here, it still works as minimal. There's a little bit too much drawing here, too. So one thing about minimalism is it's going to create a lot of straight lines or no line at all. So, did everybody get the text that I sent with the, did you guys look at that? Okay. So I'm reducing it down to the least common denominator for us to start. We're starting with the least amount of imagery, and then we're working our way up. We're going to work our way forward. This works as one color too. And what I really like is these straight lines. That's called sort of incidental, almost. And this is this is next to the ultimate. So I expected everybody to do this for your first picture. But since you just have to draw. Yeah. But this is minimalism at its core. You can't go wrong doing this. And then you see some people in that video, like Ellsworth Kelly. And what's the other sculptor name? Was Robert Smith in that? I don't remember. But a lot of the minimalists are also sculptors. Okay, so this is where we're going to. And you did this, right? And so my thing is to see how I can get you. This is really good painting. The painting technique is excellent. So I'm looking at it with an artist's eyes, right? I'm looking at the brush stroke, which looks like one brush stroke. You can't be more minimal than that. I'm trying to figure out how can I get you to do this on canvas? Because you have trouble painting on canvas, right? And I'm thinking about you sanding or gesso in the canvas and sanding it down to a surface almost as smooth as paper might do the job for you. So we might do that. We might do that, have you gesso or canvas and sand it. Okay, so I thought I was going to use this. Let me give you an example, though. A cheap example. So, I'm going to do this painting here that's going to have drawing, but the drawing is going to be incidental. So I'm not purposely drawing. It's going to have a lot of details, but it's just going to be incidental. So I'm dealing with the color blue. Now, when you start working like this, the brain is actually doing math without doing math. And science. This is math and science. But it's subconscious. This is also meditation. What art can do, art can heal. Art can heal. I got a grant for, I forgot how much, around $13,000 for healing art. You can heal yourself by making art. Have you ever healed yourself by making art? Raise your hand if you have. Can you want to share with it while I'm doing this? Can you share what happened with everybody?
Well, like, one time I wasn't, like, feeling at my best, so I, like, did a painting, and I put my feelings into the painting, and I felt, like, way relieved after that.
Yeah. You raise your hand. Can you share with us?
Sometimes when I feel like anger, I sometimes express that feeling to people.
You get angry? What a surprise. You actually get angry? Now I'm scared. Now I'm nervous about you. Your exterior is so calm. But I guess you have to get angry when you run down what do you call that? If you're going to do you vault? Oh, you don't, but it broke things then. But did you used to vault? When you would run down, what's that called when you run? You have the runway? Did you ever get angry when you're running down that runway to the vault? Yeah. Because it helped you to express yourself, right? Who else raised their hand about? Can you share?
Yeah, I was making one of the paintings in here, you know the dark ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was sad, but I was at peace, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I put that onto my painting.
Yeah, that's what art is about, isn't it? And believe it or not, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. So when you're honest, when you're in here doing your work, and it's honest like that, somebody will see that, and they won't know why it will make them feel more calm or something, but it will. That's the power in art. And art has been around ever since mankind, right? The first artist, guess who the first artist was other than God? Adam and Eve. They made sackcloth. I mean, what was it? Grass skirts or something. Whatever they made. With fig leaves. Oh, it was fig leaves. Right? So that's sewing. That's manufacturing. That's building. That's design. And so God didn't like the design, so he gave them some animal skins. But anyway, I go off on a tangent sometimes. But that's the power in art. And even though sometimes you find yourself in a place or around people who don't understand that gift, and they will sort of like not recognize it in you, but you have to recognize it in yourself. You know, because you know who you are, what's inside. Now the world understands the power of art. Chattanooga is not a great place for art, but Chattanooga understands the power. Because you can go to the Hunter Museum, and we've been there, and you see art that's worth millions of dollars. Somebody paid for that and gifted it to you. Millions there's probably billions of dollars worth of art at the Hunter Museum. So this is not just some little cute thing we do. Without art, do you know what would happen in the world? Well, look what's happening now. And it's interesting. And no matter who you voted for, I'm just talking about art. Our president tried to take art out of America by defunding the National Endowment for the Arts. people over years and years and years have placed billions of dollars in this government funding thing to make sure that we can teach this class, and all over the country, people are teaching classes to seniors and youth and the deaf, the blind. You know, art is important. And you see the same president started a war. So there's something about, we need art, you know, just to be civilized. I'm on my high horse about art today, right? You get a chance to express yourself. So there's a lot of drawing in this, right? But it's all incidental. Because all I'm doing is putting square blocks together. And even if you couldn't read the white of the board, it don't matter. You can still see the drawing. So now I'm taking the ink back up without trying to. So even if I cover all the white and you can barely see the white. So there's a type of visual texture that's happening in here that can draw people in. Rothko. Did they mention Rothko in that video? You would actually, he's really an abstract expressionist, not a minimalist, but he used these concepts. So you may have a color here and a color there. This is, as you advance in minimalism, the next stage when you start using more than one color. But the idea is to make the color work for you, whatever color you're using, to make it work. We're not here yet. We're not using more than one color yet. But today I want you to use more than one color again. And let's go to a larger sheet of paper this time. So Rothko might do something like this, and he would saturate colors, and he put layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of colors down. And then he would also take color up, so you get this push and pull, we call it, going back and forth. People, I was in, I think, at the British Museum, they had a space for just Rothko paintings. It was like a little gallery, just his own gallery. And I would see hundreds of people just walk in and just spend all day in the space looking at Rothko. They almost worship his art. It's like a cathedral or something. And they just spend all day looking at a Rothko painting. And hundreds and thousands of people do that every year. So the power of colors. But I'm trying to get you guys to see color in a more in-depth way, and to be able to use color. So yeah, let's go with a larger sheet, one of those larger sheets.
You want one of these?
I don't know. I think we have some paper out there for everybody. I don't.